this session, we're going to be looking at inspiring art stories. It's the first Wednesday of November, and these are the three artists that we're going to be hearing from. But before we get going, I just want to highlight a little bit about the topic of the month of November. I know a lot of you have been giving me feedback and saying that you struggle to create content to be able to post consistently on your website, on your social media, on all the different platforms where you have to come up with ideas and how do you represent your art on all these platforms. I know it can be a nightmare, but you need to set up some kind of system, get some ideas and inspiration. And that's why the month of November is all about creating clever content. How can you get that content to represent you in the best possible way? And next week, we're going to be looking at creating images and words that define you. And how can you take your art, turn that into images, turn that into words, because that's all your art audience will have. They don't all have the opportunity to do a studio visit or come to a gallery to see your work. You'll have to represent your work in the best possible way through photos, through beautiful posting, through words, so that people get the full experience of your art. So they can't help themselves, but they want to buy, they want to follow, they want to be part of your community. And that's what we're going to be looking at in next week's session. And then on the 18th of November, that's our third session of November, we're going to be looking at booking a professional photo shoot. I always encourage the students of the Working Artist course in the community. There's a lot you can do with your mobile, but it has its limitations. There is a place to invest in a professional photo shoot. How do you choose a photographer? How do you go about organizing a photo shoot? How do you make a mood board? How do you capture your branding in images? How can you direct and assist a photographer to make the best possible images of your work, of you, whether you need a profile photo, about me photo? So I'm going to give you some tips, and we're going to be looking at images that work, images that don't work, and how you can organize that through a professional photographer. And then the last session of the month of November, we're going to be doing another live artist website review. We've done this in the past. It's been very inspiring to see your artist websites. If you want to submit your artist website for review, then please also get hold of me. That'll be at the end of the month. I'll share a little bit more about that next week. My name is Sonja Small here. For those that are new in the community, I am from South Africa, lived in the Netherlands for many, many years, and now have relocated to beautiful South Africa, and that's where I'm broadcasting from. I'm an artist, I'm a course creator, podcaster, coach. I love everything creative, and I love seeing artists succeed. Your art is important, but what a pity if it's stuck there in your studio, not getting out where it belongs. In the homes, in the hearts, in the hands of an art audience. And I've seen through the years of just discovering more about marketing, about selling, about the art market, that there is so much possible that you could do, especially with the online space. And that's what I'm passionate about, to tell you, to encourage you that there is so much possible. You just need to know how, because that sometimes is a frustration that you want to be busy with your art, but you also need to be marketing. You also need to be doing that whole promotional side. And that can be sometimes a great conflict in your routine or your schedule. But that if you set up systems, it can be totally doable. And that's what I teach in the course, in podcasts that I have. So go and look at my website. There are resources there for you to enjoy, and that you can get some insight so that you can start moving forward with your art business. The Working Artist course is my signature course that is going live again in the spring. So in February, the doors will be opening, and you can register for this amazing course of 12 weeks. It really is a very special time of learning. It's a 12-week trajectory with 10 amazing modules, art experts that come and give live teachings, answer questions, gallerists, curators, professional working artists that are sharing their knowledge so generously. There's an array of course material that are pre-recorded. There are worksheets so that you can take action, that you can assess where you are as an artist and how you can move forward and set up some kind of plan for your art career, for you, so that you're not just going from one painting to another. You have a plan so that you can start working that out very concretely, very intentionally. There's a waitlist, so please head over there after the session. Join the waitlist so that you can stay informed and I can keep you up to par about the dates and about all the things you can do to prepare yourself. You are in the community, so that's you are here live in the session, and also the people watching the replay, of course. And this is it's a growing community of artists with different disciplines, different challenges, and we get together here in the feed, but also in the live session on the Wednesdays. And please feel free to interact. Use this community to ask questions. It really is a safe place where you can practice, so that you can go out into the demanding art world, or have the social media is not always that kind, and try and practice there. But it's far more difficult. Here you'll get constructive feedback. You can practice with one another. You can share, your website, ask for feedback, and that's why the session is here today. Also, so that artists can share their stories. It's a wonderful place that you can learn to talk about your art, because that's where your wins are as a creative, to learn to articulate what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing things, so that you can share more than just your art, but you're sharing your vision. And that's what your art audience is looking for. They want to get a better understanding and get to know you. So welcome to the space. If you're new, have a look around. You are most welcome. Without further ado, this is the session about inspiring artist stories for the month of November. And our first artist is Marianne De Young. Marianne, how wonderful to have you and your beautiful sculptures and your art in the background.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here and to see you again, Sonia.
Yes.
I'm so sorry you went to South Africa, but you know that. But I'm happy for technical stuff, so we can still be connected and seeing each other.
Yeah, that's a big advantage of the online space. So
Yes.
wonderful you've taken the afternoon to come and join us. Marion, please just tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you? What are you doing? And we'll share a little bit about your vision.
Yeah. So I'm Marianne De Young. I'm from the Netherlands. And Sonia and I used to live very close to each other, only a few kilometers. And one moment in time we met. I think it's about like 13 or 14 years ago, Sonia. And we just had some fun times later when we went along and when we started to walk together in the art world. So I am, how should I start? Like I started as an intuitive painter, and I did it in church, and there it's called prophetic painting, and it's actually can be compared to making paintings in an intuitive manner. And that's what I've been doing for a long, long time. Everything intuitive, everything abstract, doing lots of mixed media also. Working with collage, so tearing things up, sticking it on the canvas, and working with that. And like in a moment in time, oh no, I'm skipping something. Like I wrote 3 books, one about an interior decoration product. It was done for a manufacturer of the stuff. Second, I wrote a book about prophetic painting, and that's translated also in English and German. And I wrote a book about how to let your creativity grow and how to work on that to let it grow. And during the whole process, I came to know a lady who brought me into Switzerland. She invited me to do courses at the youth movement she was working with. And I went there for 5 years, and I got invited elsewhere in Switzerland. And there I was also invited for about 5 years. So from there, I came to know people who came from Germany. They took courses in Switzerland and then invited me to come to Germany. And that's how one of these times, actually, it was more of these times, I asked Sonja to come and join me. And well, we were on the road together with lots of fun, lots of, good moments. Uh, yeah, so we know each other behind the screens. I can
Mm-hmm.
say
Yeah. Right.
that.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
What did
so
you
much.
discover? Can you just tell us so that you're an artist and you're an educator? So
Yes,
there's
I
two.
am.
So you wrote the books as an educator and you are working as an artist. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you made that transition and what is it that you're wanting to share and to help artists do?
Yeah. So this transition came at a certain moment in time. Like I was like maybe 15 years doing all kinds of intuitive painting, but there started this feeling of frustration started to grow in my heart, because the more and more I made abstract paintings, I felt a kind of void because I was not able to, to make actually what I saw in my mind. So I wanted to do some realistic stuff, and I couldn't do it because I didn't have the tools for it. And so I one day I went to Florence in Italy, and we saw this beautiful, amazing art all over the streets there and in the museums. And then I really knew and got so determined I have to learn how to do realistic art. So from that time on, I set my all my efforts on doing that, and I started drawing. And at first, I even mourned about having to leave painting. I remember that. But I thought, no, I have to start drawing because otherwise I cannot, learn how to make the good shapes. So I promised myself, Marion, it's only for a year. And then you go painting again. And I'm laughing about it now because I got so kind of addicted to drawing and have so much fun. And it's so rewarding because during the process, I learned how to do this and I learned how to grasp even very difficult uh, forms. Can I show something?
Yes, please.
Art?
Tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, show us.
So actually, this is an example of what I did. Like this is in 2006. The date is on the watercolor painting. Actually, it's mixed media also. And now this is
Wow.
2016, when
Yeah.
I started to do really very realistic stuff and a bit more the more difficult things. And here's another portrait. I know I should put them in a frame, but I get so much art in a moment in time that I don't have time to frame and not no money to frame.
Yeah.
So that's my husband. You know him.
Yep. What are you? The
So
Wi-Fi is a little bit slower. So when you hold the paintings, we don't see it that clearly. So maybe later you can just share it as well as in the feed, so we can really look at the beauty of the work.
oh yeah, that's good. Good
Yeah.
idea.
So you made the
So
transition. What is it that you've learned? What was the big aha for you?
the big aha is art is very nice when you doing things intuitively, but I've discovered that in order to make a realistic stuff, you have to have a plan. And I have learned now how to use set steps to working from nothing to a very complicated image or drawing or painting. And that is a big aha for me. It's a very big aha for me. And I'm so excited about this that I really want all these people, because I can still hear their voices. Like in the past classes I had, we were all telling each other how frustrated we were because the shape wasn't good. We were so frustrated. Me too. And I've now discovered how to get over that, how to fix it, and how to do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you're excited about that because it opens the possibility to not only sketch. I mean, this is like or draw. It's the basis for every artist to be able to develop their own visual language, to develop their own style. This is
Mhm.
like foundation. And I know you teach on this as well. So can you just tell us a little bit, because there are mixed media artists here, there are portrait painters, there are all kinds of folks in the community. How does this foundation help them, and how can they apply it to their art?
Yeah. So as I said, in acquiring this foundation, you first need to do some things that you don't want to do, and that is to spend some time and really dive into the topic of comparing and copying work. So I have an example of copied work. Ah, it's rather big.
Ooh.
You see an example here. That is a plate, and this is an original drawing. I'm
Mm.
still in the process of finishing it. So
How many hours is this, Marion?
this one is about 33 hours. So I've worked 33 hours on that, but I will be working a few more to finish it, because not totally finished. But you start with very easy drawings, and then you learn the principles of measuring, comparing, making the proportions in the right way, learning how to work with the darks and the lights. I never knew they were so important. And actually, it's a short time that you set apart to gain all these competences, these skills, and then you can move into the more difficult stuff. Once you've done that, you maybe think, oh wow, that's nice, but I don't want to keep on copying stuff. Of course not. You need to develop your own, yeah, your signature, your handwriting as an artist, and put some stuff in there.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how does it work for you? Can you tell us a little bit about your style? What are your aspirations as an artist?
I'm moving towards using more symbols and types into my artwork, because of course we have certain ideas. And actually I made a drawing about kicking out corona, and it's all through symbolic things. I'm sorry, I have not have it do not have it actually here within reach, but I could post it when you're talking to another artist. And well, that's done through symbols and types, symbolic meanings, which you sneak into your painting or your artwork. And well, I've been looking into that also,
Mm.
and still working on that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit about, because you have an academy, you're the founder of the Dutch Art Academy. Can you just tell us a little bit about how that works and how people can join the academy and what benefits it will give them?
Yes. So Dutch Art Academy is an online school. Online school. Um, Actually, the basics are very simple. You enroll in a class, and you go and towards the school and log in each week. read the stuff, read over the teaching, watch the videos, print out some handouts when it's applicable, and you do the exercises. And they start very easy, and then gradually they start being more difficult. And it's about different topics, but it starts with drawing.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, that's
Please
online.
put the URL in the comments, and then that'd be great. People can have a look and see what that is all about. I know
Yeah,
you
you
do.
want me to do that now?
No, when you're finished, people can have a
Okay.
look at it. Yeah. And then I know you're busy with marketing. I know you're marketing your school. You're busy with promoting at this. So, what would be a marketing tip or something that you've seen that works or doesn't work for artists to get their art out there?
Yeah, well, I'm so convinced now that you need to get your art in front of people. And one of the best ways to do it, especially in Corona time, is do it through the internet. So now, for me, it is a time to work on online marketing, and I've started to look into this. And it's a whole world opening up for me, and I never knew it had so many possibilities. And I really take time each day to work on that, and other things have to wait, and unfortunately, that has to be painting and drawing.
Oh,
I have to prioritize now for marketing. Yeah, really, and I'm
yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
I'm doing it,
yeah.
and it's a learning curve, Sonia. It's a learning
Yes,
curve,
it's
but
like
it's
what they say.
totally doable.
Yeah, yeah. And especially for the non-millennials, like most of us in the
Yeah.
community, that it takes maybe a little bit longer to to understand the technology, but once you got it, then you can use it to your advantage and really
Yeah,
that space. Yeah.
but I noticed also, like maybe like 8 years ago, technology was far more complicated. And I
Mm,
noticed that there are platforms who are simplifying, 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 because they also want, yeah, all the people to use their product, of course. And I see it's much easier now to do things than like 8 years ago.
mm, yeah, that's for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yes, very.
What artists inspire you, Mario? Past or present day artists, and why?
Well, most of the time, I'm so totally, flabbergasted by people like Rembrandt, Ferdinand Bol, Klaas Heda. That's all the Dutch 17th century and later artists. And, there's so much of their art in our museums here in the Netherlands. And I really love to, like last weekend, I was in Dordrecht Museum. There was about Albert Cuyp, an exhibition about Albert Cuyp, his beautiful landscape paintings, and a big story about how he influenced all of the English painters. Even there were even paintings of Turner hanging next to his paintings. Yeah, very great.
Mm.
So that's one a big inspiration for me. And then there is what's his name? Jacobs. Forgot his name. And it's an
Posted
American
it.
painter, and he's making very beautiful portraits and still lives, and there's yeah, beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful.
Yeah, post the URLs in the group because it's always good to see how
Yes,
artists.
Jacob Collins is his name.
Okay, yeah, very
Yeah,
realistic
yeah,
painter. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and why do you like his work?
He's very subtle with changes in color, in
Mhm.
the cool and warm stuff. His paintings look easy. Some of the paintings are really like, you you can pick up the cup and drink from it.
So real. Yeah.
That is very amazing. But I like very much his use of color. Yeah.
Wow. Marion, please go ahead and share your URLs in the group. And if people have questions for Marion, I just want to take a minute to see if there's any questions for you, Marion, here. Otherwise, please have a look at the comments throughout the question. Maybe someone has a question for you,
Yeah.
then feel free to answer that. Let's see if anyone has a question for Marion, then fire away. And thank you, Marion, for sharing briefly. I know it's briefly, but we'll have you back and you can share more. I know you're an amazing teacher and have so much to share. So I'd love to do a whole session also with your journey as going from the intuitive to the realistic and how you can apply that.
Yeah.
So there is a podcast about Marion's story as well in the community. Any
Actually,
questions?
I probably might be going back to abstract, one moment in time. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's one big experiment in the process.
Yeah.
I don't see any direct questions, but keep that comment area. What's that comment area? If there's anything, Marion, I want to thank you for spending this short moment with us, and all the best. And we'll be keeping in touch.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marion. Bye. Okay, Marion, good to have you here in the session. And next up is Rob. Rob from the Netherlands. He's here also to share his artist story. Rob, if you can, I'm just going to see with it. Yeah, there's the noise gone. Rob is joining us also from the Netherlands and also has a unique art form. He has two unique art businesses, very distinct and very different. Yes.
Okay.
To get you there. Hello, Rob de Vries.
Hi.
Great that you could join me for this session, Rob. We'd love to hear a little bit more about who you are, what you're doing, and about your unique art businesses, because they're very distinct and different. Your genre that you've chosen, but just tell us a little bit. Where are you sitting? Where are you, and who are you, and what art are you making?
Okay, now well, I'm Rob de Vries. I was born in Amsterdam, in Holland, and now I'm living in Kalf aan de Zaan, just north of Amsterdam. And I'm sitting here in my studio, and I'm making very photorealistic paintings. And I also got a completely different type of work. That's portraits of Elvis Presley. And they,
Elvis Presley, he's still in the house.
Yes, and I got different sites for that. Got both 2 sites and 2 Facebook pages and 2 Instagram accounts, so it's completely separate from each other.
Yeah. But let's go back a little bit, because you have that interesting story that you saw this American Airstream and at school, and you're just fascinated by photorealism. For the people that don't know what it is, please just tell us a little bit about your journey towards photorealism.
Yeah, it was a type of art that the late 70s of the last century it came to be. And I was just so surprised that people paint something to look exactly like a photo. And that was in the time there was no internet, so I went to the library and couldn't find anything. So nowadays it's much easier. You can just ask an artist and he will answer you and tell you how he did it. And so now I got all the books that are available on photorealism, and I go to every exhibition I can find here and in Germany and in other countries. So it's
And what do you like about that style? What is it that so drew you to that hyper-realistic painting?
Yeah, I love the way that all the details, just with a little brush, sitting for hours making all those little details, and have to just like real, that is look real. That people think, is this a photo? And only when they look very close up, they can see that it's not a photo but a painting.
You like that, sort of the trickery and the illusion
Yes.
of painting it so real. Do you have
Yeah,
anything that we see? I mean, I can see the Viewmaster behind you, and I see a little bit of Elvis there.
yeah.
Peeking
Elvis is going to Friesland with me weekend.
into Friesland with you.
At this Viewmaster.
Wow.
It's one of
I love
my.
that it's so enlarged. It's so like it becomes the still life of its own because it's so enlarged.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
because
Rob.
at this, I'm working on it. It's also very much enlarged. This is the car, the real one, and this is on the painting. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a long way finished. So
Yeah. So how do you choose your subject matter? So is it random or are you working in a theme?
now this series I'm working on the last couple of years is called Memories of a Happy Childhood, and then you just sit there thinking, and you see something, and it triggers a memory, and I think, oh yeah, I need to paint that. It's going back years and years. It
Mm.
started a bit when my mother died 6 years ago, and you're going to think back to your youth and how happy it was, and then you get all those nice memories. And I see that people of the same generation of me have the same memories. And you get to talk about your paintings because they're going to tell you their stories to me about their youth and that kind of stuff. So that's very nice to make a
Mm.
connection to people.
Yeah. So that actually happens at exhibitions. People see the Viewmaster. I know you did the pink cakes, the roze
Mhm.
cooker, and
Yes.
haverslag, and all the Dutch little lovely goodies, and that people start sharing what that object or food triggered. That you
Yes.
start conversations that way.
Or have their own memories about things I didn't paint, but they're just going to tell me anyway. And sometimes there was an old guy, he came to me and he said, I went to the exhibition and your paintings made me so happy just looking at them because of the bright colors and yeah, they look happy, I think.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's something that has a warm, fuzzy feeling,
Yes.
especially if they have memories attached to them. Rob, what's the most fun art piece? Let's just stick to the photorealism and then we'll go to Elvis in a second. What's the most fun piece you've worked on, or the most something that was really memorable or meaningful to you?
Yeah, that was a painting. It was in the series from the family album. And it was an old photograph of my mother and my aunt. They were on holiday in Limburg. And I made that painting with a big pen and some cards my mother saved and a bag from the sugar. And then it was finished, and my cousin called me and she said, I want to buy it for my mother for her birthday. So that painting from my mother and my aunt is hanging on the wall at my aunt's house.
Oh, that's
Very
special.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, an emotional, and it's staying in the family.
Yes, because my cousin said, when my mother dies, I want to have it.
Mm. It's already been taken, been claimed. Yeah. And then the Elvis, where did that come from? I mean, please go and have a look at Rob's website. He has two for his photorealistic work and also for Elvis. And I know you said Elvis is going with you to where was it? Friesland?
Yes.
Friesland. Do you have any Elvises you can show us?
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time I make small drawings like this. They go quick and they are not that expensive. And I make a lot of assignments, oil paintings and stuff like that.
So
Customers.
people come to you. Yeah, so they come to you, they give you a commission, they send you their favorite Elvis photograph or their Elvis
Yes.
memory.
And that all happened quite easy because it's a very small niche and it's easy to find your ideal customers on Facebook and things like that. Just join some groups and post your work and people are coming.
Yeah,
It's
they're
much easier than my other work to sell.
Yeah, yeah. And so, was this a very deliberate choice? Are you an Elvis fan yourself, or was it a marketing thing or a business strategy?
No, I'm an Elvis fan since I was 10, so it's now 48 years ago.
Mhm.
I've been to Graceland, and yes, I'm a big Elvis fan. And,
Big Elvis fan. So that was an automatic sort of decision that you're going to turn that passion for Elvis into a revenue stream, because Rob is an alumni of the course. So Rob and I have spoken on a regular basis that this also supports your other big art passions for the photorealistic work. So it was a very clever business strategy to have a revenue stream with a clear niche, with a definite market, because you are selling very well. I think some of them even sell before they're finished.
yes,
They say, and they're fighting for the Elvises,
yes,
like
even
who,
that.
even that, yeah, that they want to buy it. And then that income stream supports your big passion also for the photorealistic work. Um,
Yes,
so that's something that keeps your business. You're a full-time working artist, and so this is really something that supports you and your business. So that's something we can all, people listening can look at and see how can you turn a passion into a revenue stream that's easier to sell at a very distinct niche and to support your other big passions. Tell us, Rob, about the photorealistic work. Where do you want to go? What do you aspire to do? Do you have any dream projects down the line?
yeah, I used to be in a gallery, but it closed through COVID. It was very small, so I want to have another gallery because it's so difficult online to sell it. So it's much easier if it's hanging in an exhibition or something, and you can talk with people about it and show it to them, because they look so much better in real life than on a picture. You know that you've seen them. People
Yes,
need
I
to
do.
see them, and that's so that's one of the goals for the coming months, to find a new gallery
Yeah.
where
Gallery
I can.
presentation for your photorealistic work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know you do a lot of marketing and promoting yourself to sell your work also online and social media. Can you just give some of your challenges and tips for the people that are in the group? What do you do? What works? What's more of a challenge?
Yeah, you have to post consistently on social media, because with my office I have most of the time on Monday I started the drawing, on Wednesday it's halfway, and Friday it's finished, and most of the time it's sold on Monday or Wednesday. So
Yeah.
that's but the people know then that on Monday you're going to see this, and on Wednesday this, and on Friday it's finished. And
Yeah. So you have a rhythm.
yes, it's difficult, more difficult with the photorealistic work, because it goes so slow to finish painting. So
Mhm.
if I post 3 times a week, people won't see any difference. Only
No,
me.
that little dot changed.
Yes, a square centimeter or something. So that's a bit more difficult to
Yeah.
promote that.
Yeah. So then you promote what channels are you using? What is your strategy, marketing
Yeah,
strategy?
yeah. I try to have several exhibitions a year, so I can connect to people in real life and talk to them, and make them
Yeah.
interested in my work. And last month I sold 3 paintings through exhibitions. So that's and 5 drawings.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is something you use the online space to make people aware of what you're doing,
Yeah.
but you need that in-person experience, a moment in a space where you can talk to people and share those the memories and connect with a real person. And that's because I know we spoke and you said at the exhibition there weren't sales, but afterwards people started thinking about it. You sent an email after the exhibition as well, saying, telling people about a follow-up. So that worked for you for this past exhibition?
Yeah. Because I have this newsletter, and then I invite everybody, and I invite people through Facebook, and then the people who are really interested are coming. So they're already interested. You don't have to address everybody, because so that's
They really know about you.
yeah. And I learned a lot in your course about talking about my work and being enthusiastically, and because I'm very shy. But when I have a good story about my work, it's quite easy to talk to strangers. And
Yeah, your big passion. Then Rob just totally comes alive. And
yes,
Geen,
and then
in how we are.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Hey Rob, you are a mature working artist. You've been doing it for many years. What tip would you give someone starting out? What do you wish that you did, or what tip can you give a starting artist that wants to make this their profession?
Well, I learned that if you want to know something, just ask an artist. 99 times out of 100, they answer you with an honest answer. But first, I had an assignment for a cat painting, and I didn't know how to paint fur, so I just asked an artist who paints animals, how do you do that? And she answered, and so just ask. People are willing to answer you.
Yeah, don't be shy.
No,
Ask for help.
Yeah, if people want to know anything from me, I just answer them always.
Well, there we go. You guys know where to find Rob. Artists that inspire you, Rob, and why?
Yeah, of course, it's the photorealist painters from the United States from the early 70s until now. And neoclassicism, I don't know if it's the same in English, time from the late 19th century. And of course, 17th century Dutch painters. Because I've grown up with that in the museums, and it has to be realistic.
Have to be realistic.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have any artists you want to specifically share, I know that there are some beautiful photorealistic artists, and you have all the books, as you're saying. Please just put them in the comments so that it's good to learn about new artists. And if you can just share that in the comments, that would be amazing.
I can make a list later when the next artist is talking to you with my favorite photorealist artist.
That would be great. And if anyone has a question for Rob, questions for Rob, then please also put them in the comments, and Rob, you can have a look out for those questions. And see that you shared your URL. That's good, so people can follow you on Instagram. If you maybe there's someone who's an Elvis.
I will share my Elvis side too in a little while.
Yeah, great. That would be wonderful. So Rob, thank you for your story, for sharing your inspiration and your tips, and all the best. I'm going to be looking forward to all the things you're going to be popping in the comments, and have a good afternoon and have fun in Friesland with Elvis.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Take care, Rob.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. And the next up is Dido de Beer, also from the Netherlands. They just all happen to be from the Netherlands in this session. Dido, you're welcome to join me for the session.
Yeah.
Dido de Beer, tell us who you are. You are surrounded by your beautiful art, and more about your art story.
Well, my name is Dido de Beer, and I live in the Netherlands, in Harderwijk. I'm a graphic designer. I went to Arts Academy and graduated as a designer in 1984. Also in interior designer, and now I'm a full-time painter because that's what I love to do best. And the funny things with Rob is that I also have Elvis. Oh,
Elvis!
But Elvis has left the building and lives in Belgium now.
Okay, you sold Elvis to our neighbors.
Yeah. So,
Are
but
you an Elvis fan?
Sorry, what did you say?
Are you an Elvis fan?
Well, yes, I'm an Elvis fan, but I'm a fan of a lot of artists because I paint pop artists. And I'm even as a child, I was smitten by David Cassidy and then John Travolta, and then everyone that came along, I was a fan of. So that's what made I just did a lot of portrait commissions, and usually children. But then I wanted to exhibit and thought, what can I do to exhibit, because I can't show private portraits. And then I thought, well, I'm such a fan of pop music and I'm always listening to pop music, so I'm going to paint pop artists and movie stars, because I love to watch movies and I love to listen to the music. And since I had a radio when I was 10 years old, I got a radio cassette player. I'm always listening to music and the top 40. I'm still listening top 40. I'm 61. I'm still listening to the top 40 every Friday. So yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, and I wanted a disco party for my 60th birthday, but due to COVID, well, it didn't happen. So, well, maybe next year. But
Yes.
I'm just a geek about pop music. So yeah, that's it. But
And just about your art, show us your art. Tell us a little bit about your
yeah, well, I can tell you how it started.
Yes.
At my parents' home, there was always this one, a reproduction hanging of Armand Roulin from Vincent van Gogh. And I was so mesmerized by the fact that it's, oh, just the camera, it's looking at you. And if you turn it, oh, it's lovely. It's the other way around. But he keeps looking at you.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And this is a painting of my father when he was 10 years old. And I love that painting. And when my parents died, I got that painting. And I thought, well, if I have a son at that age, I want someone to make a portrait of him, like in that style. And then I thought, well, maybe I can try it myself. So I made, oh, it's lovely. Difficult to find the camera. I made this one. And that's how it started, with portrait painting. And I, because I'm a graphic designer, I tried abstract and didn't work, and thought, well, maybe I can embrace the fact that I'm a graphic designer and make graphic paintings. So that's why I came to this. Whoa, this.
Yes.
I'm very bad at left and right, but now it's even more confusing. Well, I mean,
Amy.
And just well, and well, leaving out details and just the details that matter to still have the likeness. And I wanted to be very graphic, and also that they are looking at you and following you when you walk by. And last week we talked about finding clues in your childhood. And I happened to be in my attic and found a shoebox with some drawings when I was a toddler. And I just painted this and this. And I used a lot of colors. I painted this.
Those colors, ditto.
Well, it's portraits and it's color. Just like I did. And then I found another one. This is a portrait from me in kindergarten. It's a self-portrait. So I don't think it's earrings, but ears, but I don't know.
So portraits, bright colors, really stylistic, graphic, was in there right from the start.
Yeah, we're in there right from the start. And now I make portraits like this. And they're very large. They're 80 by 80 centimeters are the smallest. And usually they're 1 meter by 1 meter. I also made one from 1 meter 80 by 1 meter 80 of David Bowie. And that's a really big one. And that went in an exhibit and on tour with Leo Blokhuis. And he gives lectures about pop music, and it's called The Pop Professor. And he's touring throughout the country, and just with his laptop. And someone who knew my painting said, well, we need a big painting, and maybe we can it can travel with Leo Blokhuis. So it toured 1 or 2 years with Leo Blokhuis. And I went to one meeting of him and heard all the noise about, oh, look, that's David Bowie. And oh, maybe you could talk about David Bowie. And then at the end of the lecture, he said, well, I'm here standing with David Bowie behind me. does someone want to know something about David Bowie? And the whole crowd said, yeah, I want to know. Well, and then he went on for half an hour, 45 minutes about David Bowie. So it
Yeah.
was really lovely.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so do you work on commission, or how do you choose your subject matter? Is it something that you're in the mood for? How does your art practice work?
Well, I also work on commission. I'm now painting 2 portraits for a commission, but I also make actors or pop artists for people just as a commission. But usually I just decide by myself what I want to paint and uh, yeah, which subject to choose.
Hmm. Hmm. And what has been some of your favorite subject, or who are you a big fan of that you love to paint?
Well, I'll show you. This is my all-time favorite painting. It's
uh,
George Michael.
uh-huh. And
See the
why?
colors? See the colors? I see now. I'm dressed the same. Oh, yeah, I'm a huge George Michael fan, and it was I was very sad when I heard he died at Christmas, and I hadn't painted him yet when he died, just because I love his music so much, and I thought, well, I can't paint his portrait so that I can tribute to his music because I love his music. But then when he died, I thought, well, I have to paint him. But that was very difficult for me, just to paint him like I feel his music.
Yeah, yeah, to
Yeah,
interpret
yeah.
that feeling and emotion through the
The
portrait.
feeling I have with his music, and to put that into a painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also get a question. I'll get it. A lot of people ask me, do you paint normal people?
Is she normal?
And I think, well, yeah, this I can paint myself. So yeah, well, I don't know if I'm normal, but I can
We'll leave
paint
that.
normal people as well.
So portraits. So people send you photos, or you go and visit them.
Yeah,
And
usually they send me photos, and then a lot of photos because even in this technique, with I leave a lot of the details, I leave them out. I really want to know the eyebrows and the mouth and the corners of the mouth and the ears. Of course, even an ear can be typical for a portrait. And
Mhm.
then I'll use one photo just to make the painting and just all the other photos for the details.
Yeah. So you make a collage of all the
Yeah,
different information that we
yeah.
put together. And did I know that you're busy marketing and selling your work? What are your marketing tips or suggestions for other artists who are wanting to reach their art audiences?
Well, I use also Facebook and Instagram. And Instagram, I get a lot of reactions also from abroad. This not only Holland, but also America and Australia and well, all over the world. And Facebook is more just friends and family. And I have a newsletter, but not so consistent with that yet. And well, my tip is, yeah, you also have your business card with you because if someone asks what you're doing, I also give them my business card. I'll tell my story and then I'll give my business card, and yeah, maybe they come back. And just like Rob said, also you sell usually not at an exhibition but after an exhibition because they have to think about it and well, where do I hang it and do I want to buy that and well, lots of questions. Just usually you get they ask afterwards, um, do you still have the painting and I'd like to buy it.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's consistently showing up, using your social media, you using your newsletter now and again. You have a website where people can find
Yeah, and
you.
a website, yeah, of course, yeah.
And I know you are not shy to contact the press, that you send in press releases to the newspaper, that you
Yeah.
find as much as the platform, as many platforms as you can, because that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I learned to be a bit bold about it. I started local with exhibitions, and then I just wrote an article about myself and sent it to the local newspaper, because I know they sometimes have to fill the newspaper and don't have not enough copy. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just send it. And the next week it was in the newspaper, and then even at the baker or the supermarket, they recognized me. Hey, you were in the paper. Well, it's a start.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's
for
how you
sure.
start. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Many they are always looking for copy. They're always looking for
Yeah.
content, especially with weekly newspapers.
Yeah,
it's,
and just the very local newspaper, they have well, they like it if you send your own article.
mhm.
So
Yeah, with a good photo with it.
yeah, a good photo with it, and my brother is a photographer, so he made a lot of photos of me in my studio and of my paintings. So I have good photographs to publish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great, I think, for people that are watching. A good is something that you don't always think of, but they use the
Yeah,
local media and
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think it's an advantage that I'm a graphic designer, because I can design my own, I can build my own website, I can design my own business card, my
mm,
leaflets. I have a leaflet, a
mm,
business card, and yeah, that's
you
an
hand that
advantage.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Dido. Any artists that you admire and that you follow, or past artists that you really love?
Yeah, well, of course, Andy Warhol, because it's pop art, and well, my art is a bit like pop art. It's not the same, but it's inspired by pop art. But I also like the Laszlo. It's beautiful portraits,
Mm,
and I have a lot of paintings about portrait painters. Also like Jasper Krabbe, totally different painter, but I
Dutch
really love.
paint.
Yeah, a Dutch painter, and he paints on blankets and posters and, well, cardboard, everything he can find.
Mm.
And I also like the realism of Richard Estes. It's
Oh, I think
beautiful.
Rob would like
Yeah,
that.
I think it's also what Rob likes, because it's really realistic and a lot of
Mm,
work.
mm.
But I also like David Hockney. I just bought a book of him, but this is another book I loved because of the dogs, and I love dogs. So, and he made a book just about all paintings about dogs. It's just a book full of his dogs.
What a joy.
very, very simple things like just
Drawing.
this, but also this just a bit of brown paint, but you can see it's a dog.
Yeah, yeah,
So
lovely. Yeah.
yeah, I really love that.
You can put a list, like I see Rob's list is there in the comments. Please just add them to the comments, because it's always good to be exposed and to hear about different kinds of artists.
Yeah.
Any questions for Dido before we close this session? If you have any questions for Dido, please follow her on Instagram. Because what is your Instagram handle, Dido? Or you can put it in the comments as well.
Yeah, I'll
People can
put it
follow.
in the comments. But you can find me Dido Design. It's didodesign.nl is my website, but I'll put it in the comments, and
Yeah.
also my Instagram and my Facebook.
Right, right. And Dido was a guest in my podcast, so there is a full-length interview with Dido on my website, so you can head over there and listen to Dido's full story. She has an amazing also story about how a Herman Brood,
Yeah,
which is a famous Dutch painter, ended off the wall and her paintings were put on. That was very
that was amazing.
story about where your art is all hanging all over the world, actually.
Yeah.
So please have a listen to that podcast. That'd be great. Thank you so much, Dido, for joining
Thank
me
you.
for the session, for sharing your art and your beautiful space and all your lovely portraits.
Thank you.
And then you just have a look at the comments. If there's any questions for you, then please feel free to answer them. And
Yeah.
we'll keep in touch, Dido. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, and enjoy the sun because it's cold out here.
Well, we'll send some your way. Thank you, Dido.
Okay, bye.
Next week, we're going to be getting together for a session all about images and words that define you, how you can create content without going crazy, creating clever content for your social media, for your website, and how you can use images and words to represent your art in the best possible way. Thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon wherever you are in the world, and we'll see each other in the next live session. Okie dokie, guys. See you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.